Carmen struggles to cut the ties while a black dog watches her. When she removes the ties, she runs deeper into the forest towards the farm. Maggie, James, their son Arlo, and daughter Merrill live there. Grandma Ellen makes breakfast, but a squeak from the speaker distracts her. She reaches to mute it. The squeak stops, and Ellen thinks it's just a glitch. James notices their animals are acting strangely. Something scared them. A goat escapes. Arlo follows, suspecting Carmen's in the woods. Evening comes. Arlo's not home. Maggie searches everywhere. Shenley arrives with a sick horse. They ask Vet Maggie to check the horse. Others search for Arlo. The speaker squeaks again. Nicholas mentions they heard that noise too. After searching everywhere, Merrill didn't find her brother, but noticed a goat was missing. Valeria mentions their neighbor's usually loyal dog went missing today. James knows to search the woods for Arlo, who's found Carmen repeating the same words. Stranger, killer. They find the goat, but Arlo's gone, caught by Carmana. A colorful wave flashes in her eye, mirrored in Arlo's. Later, Arlo returns home, repeating words like Carmen before passing out. Carmen fared worse. A black dog attacked and killed her. Meanwhile, a man paints the farm blue as the power starts failing. He stands before their house, hearing the family plan to move their son. At the hospital, surprisingly, all nearby cars wouldn't start, and eventually all the lights went out too. James wants to seek help alone, while Dawn, armed, searches the woods for Arlo's kidnapper. Maggie examines Arlo. No visible issues, but he's unresponsive. She suspects a concussion. Arlo quickly denies having a concussion and seems to return to normal. At first they thought he was joking, but the wounds were real. Maggie sends for supplies and asks Arlo to describe what happened in the forest. Arlo freezes, then says he doesn't know who attacked him, but they must leave quickly. He keeps repeating this. Trying to escape, he pushes Nicholas, causing a head injury. Maggie leaves to treat the wound. Nicholas is sure something weird's going on. Too much happened in one day. James realized it's taking too long on foot and starts saddling up the horses. He wonders if their city was hit by electromagnetic radiation, like from a nuke or solar flare. Shenley spots a man who's still painting the ground. When they run up to him, he stops them and points to a line, warning them not to cross it. James tries to explain that something happened and he wants to approach the man, forcing him to draw his gun and remind them of the rule. To ensure they understand, the man draws a circle and marks the couple with 2 crosses. Their talk is cut short by Dawn, who's chased by a dog. After being bitten, Dawn throws the dog past the line. It dies instantly. The man then warns not to trust anyone, but won't explain why. Meanwhile, Arlo tries to flee, calling Maggie. She hugs him. Arlo snaps back, apologizing. It wasn't him. Claire, unaware of the rule, tries to leave. He stops her, losing his arm. Claire exits this world. The voice in Arlon's head warns them to hide. They're trapped, and it's coming closer, ready to kill anyone in its path. Night falls. Day breaks. Maggie confronts James about their relationship. She's known about his affair with Valeria, but chose to speak up now. James hints it's not the best time for this talk. Shanley overhears, shocked by the revelation. No one knows the circle's true size or what's happened outside it. Shanley and James must investigate. Later they spot a dead snake knot. They don't understand how that man knew exactly where to draw the line. He'll have to follow it. The farm had no medicine for people, so Maggie gave Don animal meds. Better than nothing. Don says while in the woods, he found another body. Out who the man was. The entity inside Arlon is learning their language. It calls itself a messenger. While it's in control, Arla sleeps and rests. When returned, he called the messenger good, saying it's also afraid, hiding in his head. Meryl tells her brother to stop joking. There is no messenger. Arla begs his sister to trust him. The messenger wants to show them something. Deep in the forest lies a crater from a fallen meteorite. That's how the messenger came to Earth. A colorful ooze seeps from the rock into a jar. The liquid is a toxin. Nicholas asks what they should do with this toxin. The messenger replies, "You drink, then each can cross the line. But beware, too much leads to death." A car stops. Olsen gets out, crosses the line casually, saying it's easier to enter than exit. James and Shanley reached a nearby farm, but everyone there was already gone. Shanley spots dogs by the granary entering it. An alien tree has grown there and James explores the house, hears coughing in the basement. When he calls out, a hand grabs him. Olsen promises to explain the line after getting them out, asking if anyone's acting strangely. Mecca appears, saying she found a girl in the forest, the one Olsen mentioned. His task included finding and isolating Karma. If someone had contacted her, she was alive. Things would have gotten much worse. Ellen recalls Arla was first in the forest, then started acting oddly. Olsen wants to see him. Arla says the assassin drew the line to catch the messenger. Olsen tells Maggie the line drawer's trying to help. They're dealing with a concentrated anomaly now. When a developed organism contacts it, it dies like it just appeared. They're unsure. Maggie saw tie marks on Carmen's hands. Those ties are on Olsen's belt. He claims he came after she vanished. Maggie shouldn't trust him but must know. The creature transfers between people. To survive, show Arla to it. Olsen attacks Maggie and loses. Later, he asks again to bring Arla. Time's running out. Maggie leaves, asking Valeria to watch Olsen, but she refuses, leaving only Grandma. Meanwhile, the trio finds a man who spots the taxi and demands the can. Denied, the man enters the circle and tries to grab the can. In the scuffle, the can shatters and the man gets injured. Turns out, he and the herald know each other. His name is McNab. He tried to help the messenger, but he fled. Olsen's story was a lie to trick Ellen into transferring the essence. Ellen's illness vanishes instantly. Olsen asks about McNab and Travis, but gets shot in response. Travis was hiding in the house's basement. Travis can't recognize who's lying before him. Suddenly James arrives to finish him off. James says they're surrounded by a blue line. It's like an energy field they can't escape. Travis used to work at a bar. McNab came in and told him about an invisible trap that works in ways beyond human comprehension. The bar owner tells them to stop talking nonsense. McNab adds he'd better believe him or one day he might just drop dead. They make sure no one knows about the trap. They think they're clever, but McNab knows the trap is real. A patron asks who they're talking about. McNab points to the sky, calling them visitors, which no one seems to believe. Then McNab shows his hand. He barely touched the trap, yet the visitors are already among them. They ask to take McNab home. In the car, Travis becomes intrigued by McNab's idea. According to him, the source of the trap. An iridescent being luring people like moths to a flame. Arriving at McNab's, Travis spotted a car tailing them. From that day, Travis joined McNab's team. People talk of UFOs and aliens, but that's all nonsense. McNab speaks of visitors without physical bodies. Why would bodiless beings need ships? Meteors, maybe. Visitors hitch rides unnoticed, then possess humans. Good ones exist too, hunted by the bad. Travis was fascinated to learn all this. McNab avoids answering as Olsen pulls up beside them. They want to test Travis's weapon skills. The main issue, shooting won't save him. As he said, the visitors are incorporeal. The host can be killed afterwards. The visitor might jump to someone else. By now they've found the infected person, a bad visitor. 2 weeks ago, Mary bought a gun and other equipment. Mary's behavior and meteor activity suggest a good visitor will arrive soon. The plan is to track Mary, who'll lead them to another visitor. Back home, McNab says his daughter went to the forest 10 years ago and came back changed. She had a good visitor in her. He tried to call the police, but nothing worked. The trap was set, and Alice was hunted. Minutes later, another visitor knocked on the door. He had a bottle of liquid, drank it, gave some to Alice, then took her away. McNab tried to follow, but the trap stopped him from leaving. Intense pain made him fall back. McNab gained the ability to sense the trap and is sure he'll feel it again. After a while, the trap vanished. The next morning, he found Alice eliminated. A visitor left a bottle of goo at his house. Now it's Travis's. Surveillance day arrives. A familiar car appears. Hayden's inside. Travis is his replacement. The visitor shows up a few minutes later. He lets the dog out and drives to Carmen's farm. The trio puts on gas masks. McNab writes in his style that the woman's lying. Travis gets water while McNab and Olsen catch the visitor. The evil visitor overpowered people and entered the granary to pour goo. McNab realized the trap, left Olsen to escape the zone. Travis was influenced. An evil voice filled his head. He felt empty, unable to control his body. The previous host hurt Travis. Confused, Olsen tried to help. In the end, he gave up his own body. Travis says only the trap setter can remove it. Others are lured to their death. He runs to Shenley, sees a tree blocking the exit. Shenley managed to resist the entity. James breaks the wall, pulls him out. They meet McNab on the way home. At the farm, Maggie helps McNab. Arlen tells his father that the messenger and McNab are good. They should fear the assassin. James realizes Olsen's death doesn't make it safe. The visitor could possess anyone. Dawn fears Elle is infected. James will check on his mom. Dawn must warn Maggie. Nicholas takes parents to the jar. Slurry is still there, attracting all living things. A wolf scared them, drank the slurry, then died peacefully. Beyond the circle, the herald reveals his crucial mission: find and approach the device silently to avoid waking other assassins. Many people are already infected without knowing it. Good visitors are triggers, preparing for invasion. McNab trusts no one and wants to lead the guy away. A fight breaks out and McNab flees. James urges the family to keep their distance from Grandma. Dawn tries to find McNab. Len's illness returns. The visitor left her for someone else. Shenley is confused why they split up during the search. Now they must watch each other in one room. Nicholas brings news of McNab's diary, revealing how to identify an assassin, drown the person to expel the visitor. A new day dawns. McNab wants to risk venturing beyond the circle but realizes Travis has a goo pendant. He returns to the farm to get it. The diary mentions resistance groups online that have expelled assassins by drowning. Valeria sketches a diagram showing everyone's location during Len's stay. The issue is that everyone was alone. Meanwhile, Shenli tries to remove the trap by dousing the granary with gas and igniting it, but the tree survives. McNab shows up, who says the tree can't be destroyed, but there's still something they can do. Arlo drew a map with the switch location, overlaying it on a real map. The path leads to Mount Belab. Valeria rushes to her son, claiming she's figured out who the assassin is. She takes him to the zone's edge, gives him her stuff, and enters Nicholas. The visitor pushes her past the line, eliminating her, then returns to the farm. There's not enough liquid in the vial for everyone to cross the line, but it's enough to suppress the tree's deadly influence. Shenli drinks the goo and painfully breaks off a branch, which slowly turns into goo. The visitor lures Muriel outside and possesses her. What happened? No. Arlo saw this and ran to his parents. When Meryl entered the house, everyone already knew she was a visitor. The couple dons gas masks and begins exorcising the visitor, followed by resuscitation. It seemed they'd won, but the visitor, via Bluetooth, connected to James. He barely contains himself, urging everyone to flee. They hatch a plan, lure the visitor to the barn, sedate it, stuff it in the fridge, and pile bags on top to trap it. Later, McNab pours goo into glasses. One by one, they exit the trap. The season ends with Carol and her resistance group stopping their car. They have something that can help. Suddenly, Hayden appears. He beats the couple. Carol and Milo were already infected. Only by joining Hayden and Izzy can they defeat the visitors. But that's a story for next season.